Yesterday evening, we had our Vietnamese weekly discussion, and me and Mai, we share with our Vietnamese friends about what was being discussed in the discussion here, and especially on the topic of Vinayadhara and Dhammadhara, and what Achan said yesterday about Vinaya in truth is also Dhamma, and that Vinayadhara has to be with understanding. So I try to share what I understand about it, and saying that without understanding, it's very difficult to follow the Vinaya. But I think what I said was not convincing and clear enough. So I would like to have your help to explain.
What's the use if Dhamma is not Vinaya? So Vinaya is Dhamma, and Dhamma is Vinaya for sure. So understanding Dhamma as it is, because it's so very subtle, because Dhamma is right now. Who knows that it's Dhamma? How subtle it is. And without understanding, can it be Vinaya?
Because, as you said, Vinaya is the elimination of...
Right. So Vinaya is not just a rule, but each rule. It's Dhamma to eliminate ignorance and wrong behavior gradually by avijja, to be by vijja, understanding what is there. It's not just the word and the translation, but the nature and the root and the truth of what is there as it is. For example, seeing right now, it's just seeing. Who knows?
So is it possible that the rules in the Vinaya can be followed without understanding?
It's not the rule. It's the understanding about the rule.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that's clear in that sense, that it's all about developing understanding towards the final goal. But I think the question came from whether it is possible for someone without understanding to follow the rules or not.
What for?
The Vinaya is for the persons in the order, right?
Yes.
And why are they in the order?
To become an arahata.
So how can we postulate someone without understanding being able to follow the Vinaya? It would mean they hadn't understood anything yet about the Dhamma.
Yes. I think that's right.
Without understanding, can it be Vinaya?
According to elimination of akusala, it has to be with understanding.
So there are many levels of what we say sila.
Mm-hmm.
And this sila is not just 5 or 10 sila.
Right. If the sila is taken for me, being mine sila, then it's not adisila.
So the purpose of listening to the truth is not just to follow it, but to understand the nature of reality. For example, good behavior, right behavior, or wrong behavior, see, they are all dhammas. Otherwise, it's useless if Dhamma does not eliminate akusala or any ignorance or wrong understanding.
When we study the Dhamma Vinaya, when we consider it, when we listen, the purpose is always for the development of the path. So whatever we read in the Dhamma or the Vinaya, it is for the development of the path leading to the eradication of defilements. Mm-hmm. So without understanding, there cannot be any beginning of the path. So there cannot be any beginning of study of the Dhamma and Vinaya or following of the Dhamma and Vinaya without understanding at the beginning, because it will definitely be the wrong path if it's not the right path. Yes. Even if the appearance is so good and it seems one has such good moral habits and lives so peacefully and so kindly, but actually it's the wrong path when there's no understanding of dhammas as anatta.
Yes, I see on the point. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to also raise this question is many of our friends, they have the accumulated tendency to have very high respect for the monks. And some of the monks they follow do appear to be good monks. And they have apparently followed the precepts and so on. So I think that's good to understand. Like you say, we don't know about whether outer appearance is the indication of the kusala sila, and if without understanding, then it's not the purpose for becoming a monk or follow the teaching.
Like in other religions too, many Christian monks or nuns have very good behavior or may seem to live a very pure life, but nothing to do with the following of the Buddha's teachings about the understanding of dhammas as anatta. Mm-hmm. So they could be any kind of monk or follow any kind of rules and have any kind of seeming purity, but without hearing and considering and developing the right path, it's not the Buddha's teachings. It's the wrong path.
Yes. Thank you.
So what is meant by respect? Even that.
Is the belief that is a person to be a model or someone
so
to listen
respect
to.
the monk, not respect the Buddha.
They think that the monk represents the high morals that the Buddha stressed.
So in truth, whom that person respects? So who's monk? Just the robe?
Yes.
I think it's common for people to assume that those who are in robes and appear to have good sila must have a level of understanding also. That's the problem. There's an assumption that the person who has good sila has taken the robes has also a level of understanding. But we know that
It's not true.
not true. So making that assumption, that connection, is the problem. Yeah. The person can be respected for their conduct, but not for their understanding, unless it's been tested and unless it's the same as what the Buddha taught. And it's not possible for someone who's accustomed to going to the pagoda and listening to the monks and so forth. They don't have access to any other way of testing what the monk is saying, do they? So they just assume it must be right. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yes, like because the Buddha said in order to know someone's understanding, you need to talk to that person and listen to that person. The only way to know about someone's understanding.
But are you saying that you're finding that people within your group also
I
maintain this belief?
Some seem to think that it's a very important part, like following a monk.
The question is, why does one want to venerate someone or worship someone or put someone on a pedestal rather than understanding the truth right now? Because it's like living in a fantasy, thinking that one can pray and give great respect to someone, and one conjure up a story of their great knowledge or their great purity, but no understanding of the thinking now, the ignorance now, the attachment now at those moments.
So it's mostly attachment rather than kusala chitta. I think that's
what we think
point
of as paying great respect is mostly attachment. Wishing the other to be so good, so pure, to help one, but no understanding of the strong clinging now.
Right.
That's why, as Ajahn stresses, it's the Buddha's wisdom one pays respect to, not this or that teacher.
And I think it's difficult to directly challenge that kind of belief. It can only be undone by helping them understand what the Buddha did teach. And then over time they come to realize that what the monk is teaching is different. It reminds me of the group that joined the discussion in the last trip to Vietnam. Those group of ladies who obviously were devoted followers of a monk, but who, as far as we know, well, certainly while we were there, seemed to appreciate that the Dhamma was something quite different than what they'd been accustomed to hearing. I don't know if that situation continued after we left, but
I think the understanding is not enough.
Can it be a topic of discussion about who's monk or what's monk?
Yes. Good.
Otherwise, we just talk about monk. For the one who'd like to pay respect to the monk without any understanding of what's monk.
Can you say?
Yes, what's monk?
Bhikkhu is the one who sees the danger of samsara.
Really?
The bhikkhu.
Anyone who sees monk, does she or he know who's that person?
Cannot know, but I mean the real definition of a bhikkhu is the one who sees
That's the one
danger.
who knows, the one who learns about
Okay.
what's monk. But the one who just see the monk, pay respect to the monk,
just the appearance,
just believe in the monk, follow the monk, what's monk? Would you like to follow anyone who just think that's monk? Or what did Buddha say about monk?
I think those people that I'm thinking about now, they don't follow any monk, but they choose the monks that they think that have good sila
To follow.
to follow. Yes.
Anything to follow.
So the path is not about following this one or that one, this ajahn or that ajahn, but understanding the truth, each for themselves at this very moment.
Yes, and I think I appreciate when you stress that the respect, it is not the respect to the good qualities, and especially wisdom, then it's actually a kusala, it's actually attachment. I think that's very important
And the
to
same
realize.
applies when if one follows any teacher, just goes wherever they
Right.
go, does whatever they do, but without understanding of the truth now.
Right,
Quite useless, just
Right.
following one's attachment.
exactly.
And one's attachment follows one wherever one goes. And one thinks it's all good and noble because one's in the company of the pure monk or the pure teacher.
Mhm.
But without understanding, it's just more and more clinging.
Yes, yes.
When one hears the friends just following the monk or just following attachment without understanding what is one's citta at this moment. That's the point. Because one may think, oh, they don't understand and they should study more, or they should come and see ajahn. But what about one's citta? So it comes back to one's citta now every time. Otherwise one just thinks of the others and their ignorance and attachment. But what about the ignorance now, the attachment now?
Sorry, I totally agree with your point, but now I still want to mention about the case. I think deeply in some friend I know who have very high respect to the monk. I think deeply in their mind, they learned about the vipaka, the result, and they think that to have respect, opportunity to pay the respect to the monk and do the and serve them, maybe bring the good vipaka in the future. So maybe deeply in their mind, they automatically they feel very high precious opportunity to have to contact and to pay the respect and do whatever for the monk.
Lots and lots of clinging, thinking about the result I will get, trying to give more and more so that I get more and more good results. So some giving, but it's very little giving when what one's really concerned about is getting the good results for oneself or one's family. And is it really respect for the monk? Is it real respect or is it clinging?
It could be what we call admiration. One can admire a person for having good sila and being like that, but there's no kusala in that. It's really just attachment.
But it's very difficult to know about that, because when we discuss each other, they say that they just respect the good quality.
Mm-hmm.
But in some case, I still think that think about the vipaka or think about the good vipaka will bring in the future is very important in their own thinking. But it's not. It is not speak out.
So really, they know the right things to say in the discussion, but they're not being honest with themselves, their own citta, their own consciousness at the time of paying respect, what they call paying respect.
And it cannot be known which karma brings forth which vipaka, just that everything counts. And so much ignorance. I can state at this juncture that Tanajan, being a normal person, a householder, has had the time to delve into a lot of research and study and reflection on this, whereas many monks live routine lives where they get up at a certain specific time and go on their begging rounds and so on. So very few of them have the time to do this, and Tanajan has instructed monks. Appearances, visible object, a great deal of ignorance about this, and I can state truthfully that what we're doing here now is difficult. I don't think any of this is easy. There is no one who can develop understanding for me to speak conventionally. The reflection, the work has to be done. Development of understanding. There's just no shortcut or easy way around it. Some monk who's going to instruct and so forth. It's blindness. I've said enough.
So without understanding, one always follow lobha, one way or the other, constantly.
But always follows one, and one doesn't even understand what dana, giving, is, because when there's an opportunity to give and one just gives, no thought of oneself or one's result or the admiration of others or what others will think or whether it's even acknowledged. So as soon as it's thinking about oneself and one's results and how important one is and whether the monk will acknowledge it, it's not dana. And as we know, the best dana is Dhamma dana, sharing Dhamma. And for that, there has to be the understanding of the truth from the beginning.
Right.
And they are probably, as Mai says, they're thinking of the results that will come in future, but perhaps there's no appreciation that all kusala other than the development of insight leads to further rebirth and continuation in samsara. So that is a significant point of difference between those who just admire or pay respect to people of apparently good sila and the development of the path, which requires the deeper understanding and paradoxically can occur regardless of one's level of sila. Yes, and that's another point. So people associate development of the path with having good sila to begin with, which is not necessarily the case.
What about monk is sitting in this room? What then? Quack? No word or what? Just right now. What about monk sitting in this room? Will you pay respect? Certainly. As long as he doesn't do anything wrong. But at moment of doing something wrong, will you respect or pay respect? See? That's why it's not just the robe or anything, but at moment of seeing monk who wears a robe, why it conditioned moment is paying respect to the truth of who's monk. In the old days, on and on to now, never changed the meaning of monk. But if that is only the one who wears robe without any understanding and wrong conduct, wrong behavior, shall we pay respect? It's in Tipitaka.
And if the monk just sits quietly and doesn't speak and looks calm and relaxed, kusala citas, no one knows. Kusala citas, akusala citas, no one knows. Just one's own thinking, one's own fantasy about that one, or this one, or this one, or anyone.
But when one sees the monk wearing the robe and paying respect, thinking about the good qualities of all the monks in the Buddha's order, then it's not paying respect to that particular individual. Right? Yeah.
Because at that moment we do not think about that person. Think about what it's meant by
Sangha as a whole, and
Right.
those who have carried the teachings for us to listen to now, better than thinking of individuals.
Right.
And what about when monk has wrong view?
Very dangerous.
Just say nothing or what? What we want to do?
We need to say it. But no, we need to say where wrong view is.
What about wrong view of self, like do this and do that? You should do this. You should sit and meditate. You should.
Yeah, so I mean, we need to tell that what is wrong view and what is right view.
To the monk? To the monk, you mean?
It depends on condition. But I mean that if there's an opportunity, we can see we can say out what is the right view.
Because before we met Ajahn, we all listened to monks and we went to meditation centers and so, etc., etc. And but by listening, we realized somehow the wrong view of what the monks are doing. That's why we don't go to meditation center anymore. We don't go to the temple anymore. Because of understanding, having a bit of understanding of wrong view, what wrong view is. And it is what the monks are saying, what the monks are doing. I can't think of anything right about a monk. I mean, wearing a robe.
Yes, I don't think I suggested that. I just think that in the situation, if a monk has wrong view, it's like another person has wrong view. So if there's an opportunity to discuss what is the right understanding of the truth, then we should also do it. That's it.
I mean,
but I would like maybe Ajahn will say more about what you wanted to say.
It depends on situation.
Right.
Sometimes it's not appropriate at all, so it's...
I think in Thailand, Ajahn is well known by monks. Why don't they listen to her?
Simply because they don't want to hear what she has to say.
Exactly.
That's it. So it's not appropriate to just tell them because they don't want to hear, they don't want to listen. So it's not like just speaking to any lay person. That's why for the monks usually there's less opportunity to hear the Dhamma than for lay people today.
Of course, if a monk comes along to this discussion, Ajahn will explain, as in the past has happened.
Yeah, I'm not saying Ajahn. I'm talking about on the monk's part. Of course, Ajahn would be very happy to explain Dhamma to anyone,
Right.
Especially monks. But you're saying, why don't approach a monk and telling why you have wrong view, you shouldn't, you know.
No.
I mean, trying to explain the monk about
even with a lay person, we normally don't approach them to tell them about what we think is right. Right? It comes up only when there's the interest in the topic and there's the discussion. Right. So I think with the monks, if there's an opportunity, for example, if they come and have a discussion, then that can be said. Like Ajahn did that also in Vietnam when we used to have many monks coming to the discussion.
But they are coming to the discussion.
And even if they come, it depends on the situation, what is appropriate. Not the same as just speaking to lay people. Like I remember one occasion when a monk came and spoke about things that were inappropriate for a monk to talk about, like scandal in the monastery or something like this, and Ajahn was just silent, nothing said at all. Whereas if it was a lay person, one would say, what about the Jita now, and what about the Dhammas and so on. So it depends.
Just a point on following the rules, the Vinaya rules. Can Dhamma follow any rule? Can a reality follow rules? Can Chitta follow a rule? Can Cittasika follow a rule? Or is it?
It's just the arising of virati cetasika when we say that it's following rule and with understanding.
Because you were saying that this monk seems like he's following the rules.
That is speaking conventionally, it's not. We understand that when it say like that, we mean that it's the arising of realities, the virati cetasika, and it can be without any kusala at all. Just the outer appearance.
No virati, like no if virati, one bows down and one undertakes not to kill and steal and so on and follow various rules. No virati involved at all. Are there any kusala citas? Who knows? Or just wishing? Who knows? So just different dhammas following the rules. Kusala, akusala citas. Clinging to self, clinging to results, who knows? One can only know for one's own citta.
I think there is a word, upasampada, which means when a monk is ready to get ordained, because he knows he can follow the rules. He knows by Panya. Panya knows if what level of one's own Panya. If one knows that there's little Panya, for sure he cannot follow the rules. Impossible.
Or conventionally can follow them, but not with kusala citas. Maybe with lots of clinging and a lot of dosa, but not easily, naturally with kusala citas, without understanding.
And like one Mahayana monk who usually comes to the discussion, because he listens very carefully and he understands that he's not a real monk, but he's just happy enough to listen to the teaching and following his life as before, but he knows who he is in reality.
Cannot let go of the clinging to the outer appearance.
Right.
And this way of life.
Right.
Living in the temple and so on.
Right. Yeah.
So the clinging, strong clinging is there.
No matter Dhamma Trara or Vinaya Trara, it's all about the Buddha teaching. It's only the Buddha teaching only that can lead out or kilesa. It's all about Dhamma or Vinaya.
A question?
Yeah, just because the day before yesterday, Tanajan said about Dhamma is Vinaya and Vinaya is Dhamma.
So and today I say so.
And tomorrow
today,
the same.
Yeah, too. So
Kusala,
so
akusala dhammas, yes. And without understanding of dhammas, without understanding of Dhamma Vinaya, no way out.
Yeah, only the Lord Buddha teachings only.
Yes.
That is Dhamma Vinaya Dhamma or Dhamma Vinaya. They
And
can lead out all kilesa with right understanding.
However great the dana, however great the metta, however great the other kinds of sila, it's the wrong path if no understanding of realities.
That's why right understanding is the first Ācariya Magga. Yeah.
The understanding of what is conditioned and impermanent and not self, what is unsatisfactory about the reality at this moment, even the dana, even the metta, whatever arises is gone instantly. And Tang is feeling better today, so what would you like to ask about that you've been reading about? What would you like to understand more about, Tang?
Sorry, I'm still in my mind. I still thinking like, if you act like you act like a monk, like you want to be, you admire somebody, and you try to copy the person like characteristic, and one day you will become like them. Somebody say like that, like environment, and you just follow that, and one day you will be the same. And to someone it work, but someone doesn't work. Yeah, so that
And when one would like to follow and would like to copy and be like the other, what is the citta? What is the idea at that time? Any kusala, any understanding, or just clinging, wanting to be like the other person, wanting to follow this way? In other words, no understanding of Dhamma, because it's all about I. I would like to be like this one. I would like to have more pure sila. I would like to have a better appearance. So the clinging is there, a lot of attachment.
But like for I just say example, the reality, like Dhamma is reality. But in theory, I do understand. But the experience, I can't experience yet. Like because it's rise and fall very quick. Like at the moment, no, I'm even like, okay, I can understand the theory, but it's hard for me to like experience that. And if I'm not if I'm not try to follow, to copy, like as you understand it. so
Because it's the idea that
yeah.
I or you experience it.
Yes.
So that's why it's never possible, because is there an I to experience it? Is there an I to copy? Is there an I to see the arise and fall away? What is the I?
Yeah, still clinging and self.
Strong clinging to I.
Yes.
I. Wishing that I can understand it like the others. Wishing I can copy it. Wishing I can catch the arise and fall away. It's not the understanding of Dhamma which has to develop so easily, naturally, not I trying to make it happen.
But at the moment, it's good for me because I'm sorry. In my opinion, it is good for me because I still try to to learn more and more. Try to dig into the theory, so one day I can recognize it or realize that if I don't give myself an opportunity to accept the, I don't know, to.
And what's the reality now? What is life at this moment when thinking about digging into and giving chances and so on? What is the reality at this moment? What is Dhamma now?
That's thinking in the wrong view.
Thinking, endless thinking.
Endless thinking, yes.
Seeing now, hearing now, thinking a lot about I and thinking about digging and thinking about the theory. But what about understanding? Just a little about seeing now, thinking now, different from the ideas, the stories that are thought about. So the point is coming back to this moment, to understanding a little more about what Dhamma is now. Otherwise, no matter how much thinking there is about the story of the theory and how it will develop and my experience and this, the understanding cannot develop like that. It has to be the beginning of understanding of what is true at this very moment. Like now, what is touched now?
Yeah. It's too hard.
What is touched now?
Touch now is the hardness.
Hardness, not too hard. Hardness. And is there something that is touched?
Just the body sense.
Just the hardness.
That's the hardness.
Just the hardness.
Yeah, the hardness.
And do I touch it? Just a moment of experiencing it, touching. At that moment, no thought of it's too hard or it's too difficult or this or that. So this is the world at this moment, a moment of touching and then gone. And then moment of thinking about the hard microphone, thinking about people in the room, thinking about too hard, and so on. So we learn a little more about this moment. Otherwise, it gets further and further and further away, never coming back to the truth. And that's the point, whether we study the Vinaya or the Dhamma or survey Paramattas, Dhammas, it's just for understanding a little more about life at this moment. Otherwise, you can study and highlight all the theory, but miss the point if it's not about now. Perhaps Ajahn would like to add.
Can anything be as you wish to be? Can anything be as you wish?
No.
So don't wish to be like that person or this person anymore. Right? That's the way to understand the truth little by little. Because it's there, not just the word, or not only in word, about the truth. So even right now, what is true? Now, see? Without considering, it's not Dhammadra. So it's not just the word, but what has heard, what has been heard. About what? That you have heard? Yesterday? What did you hear about?
It's gone.
What's that?
It's gone.
What did you hear about it?
She forgot it.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. Yeah.
What's that which gone?
It's gone. Yes.
It's gone, but what is it? What is that which is gone?
The sound.
Yesterday?
The sound.
Yes, yesterday
Yes. Yesterday.
or now?
Even now, the sound is gone immediately.
How do you know that the sound gone?
Because it come to my thinking.
So
Like the sound's gone, so I come.
Yes,
to think.
it's still you, always you, no matter how much you learn about the truth of this moment. See, to be truthful to the truth, it's not just to be heard once or twice, but in order to understand the nature of what is there as no one, no thing, nothing, it's gone. You can think that it's gone, but what about the understanding of what's gone?
The reality.
So now, when someone asks you, it's gone. It's gone. But what is gone?
The Rupa and Chitta gone.
You just said sound
Sounds, yeah.
a moment ago. What else? Not just the sound.
The five senses, like seeing.
Just like seeing.
Seeing.
But it's not the understanding of seeing, that it's not now, it's gone.
It's gone.
So the First thing to be remembered, not just the word, but the truth of what is there. Is there any moment getting closer to have firm confidence of the truth? It's not anyone. A moment of seeing is conditioned just to see and then gone. Each moment. So now, not just only seeing what's gone too.
Hearing.
Hearing. What else?
Sometimes thinking. Sometimes thinking.
What kind of feeling is now?
Confused.
Feeling.
Feeling. Happy. Happy. I feel happy.
What about when confused? What kind of feeling?
It's akusala.
What kind of feeling?
Akusala.
What kind of feeling? Happy feeling, pleasant feeling. What kind of feeling when confused?
Unpleasant.
Unpleasant feeling.
Yeah.
So, at moment of confusion, cannot be same moment as happy feeling. Different moments. So
Yes.
one moment happy feeling, one moment unpleasant feeling. Yeah. Even now, like when you're asked a difficult question and there's confusion, unpleasant feeling, and then it's gone, pleasant feeling, changing all the time.
And also, feeling happy, as you said, is not the same as pleasant feeling. When there is feeling happy, the feeling is pleasant, but there's other mental factors that constitute what we call feeling happy.
And perhaps Ajahn has reminded you that can seeing think? Can thinking be seeing? And when you said that or a sound for that matter, or hearing, when you said that the sound was gone because now you're thinking, only one reality at a time can arise.
Yes. So my level of studying just a theory, even like I can't experience like you ask. Sometimes my confidence is not enough, and
Confusion now?
confusing. Yes.
So confusion is real, just a
Real.
Dhamma and then gone.
Yes.
Doubt, not knowing what to answer, not knowing what is right. It's a reality and then gone. Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, just different Dhammas. So the question is just to point a little more to this moment when there's a long story about the theory in the book and how hard the Dhamma is. No understanding, but now confusion, doubt, pleasant feeling, seeing now, hearing now. It can be a little more understanding. No need to think about my little understanding or the theory or how I have to follow the other, or it all hinders the development of understanding now.
So the good way to develop the understanding is only for listening and talking to the wise person.
Listening, discussing, reading, and the most important, just careful consideration. Careful considering. So not just to read and memorize what is in the book, but one can read a little and consider a little bit about what is meant. So I think the careful considering is very important. Some people hear a lot, no careful considering, no understanding. Some hear a little or read a little, but consider very carefully.
Yeah.
So the considering,
It's the most important.
and it's not I considering or trying to considering, but naturally, even when cooking or sitting on the plane, we can be a little more considering about what life is at this moment.
Thank you, Sarah.
No need to set any rules about it.
I'd like to come back to what you said at the beginning, that like you want to copy the one who seemed to have very good conduct and etc. When you want to copy the person, is the chitta kusala?
Akusala.
So what is the value of copying someone?
The value that, if I think it is a good environment, yeah.
If there's no
like opportunity for you to in that environment and learning.
That's wishful thinking.
Thinking,
Without understanding the value of kusala,
yeah.
what kusala really is. Can kusala arise, or just by being with the person who has kusala moments, then you can have kusala as well?
Yeah, it's not like that. Yeah, I understand that only understanding something, you can do the good thing. If you just follow, it's not the way to do that. In my real world, yeah, real life. Yeah. I got it now. Yeah.
A Sotapanna who has eradicated wrong view, there can be dosa.
Yes. Yep, I got it now. Yeah.
Anne or anyone at home, does anyone have a question they would like to bring up? Anne.
What is written?
It's a name, Vietnamese name. No, this is Anne. This is someone different.
No video.
That one's Anne. Yes. This is someone. The name, but no
No
video.
video.
So if no one has a question, then maybe I have a small question. Ajahn, the other day you said that karuna, when there is understanding, karuna can arise with pleasant feeling. So can pleasant feeling arise with karuna at the moment without understanding?
It depends on that very moment. No rule.
Why not? Because when there is sympathy, when someone is sick and there is sympathy, why not pleasant feeling? Definitely not unpleasant feeling.
Sure, yeah.
So pleasant feeling or neutral feeling, but at that moment of showing kindness and sympathy, isn't the feeling usually pleasant?
It's more clear for me to see that when there's understanding, the pleasant feeling can arise in karuna, but not sure about when there is karuna without understanding. So I'd like
Why
to...
not even when there is no understanding? Many opportunities for metta, many opportunities for karuna in the day. Some people who've never heard the Buddha's teachings naturally have a lot of kindness and sympathy for others, different from the moments of unpleasant feeling, like when one's worried about one's family member. But karuna with pleasant feeling, metta with pleasant feeling. Why not?
Yes, metta for sure with pleasant feeling can. And we usually mistake dosa with karuna sometimes.
Yes,
that's
but
why.
Even when it's true karuna, true sympathy, pleasant feeling or neutral feeling.
Yes,
but as you say, usually it's something else is mistaken for it.
Even dosa is there. Can it be joyful?
Not at the same moment.
Dosa is there.
Yes.
So can they be joyful?
Not at the same moment.
Not together, okay, but can they be joyful?
Can be, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Different reality, different moments.
With the sick patient, one moment, sympathy with joy, one moment, unpleasant feeling, dosa, different moments.
Until it's there, no doubt.
Ajahn, so lobha can follow dosa almost immediately, like enjoying whatever is the object of dosa, and then there can be attachment to that dosa. Is that right?
When it's there, it's there. Depending on understanding.
Not now.
Anything can be object of understanding.
Anything can be object of attachment too, even the unpleasant feeling or dosa, anything.
Some common emotions necessarily imply both attachment and dosa arising intermittently, like nostalgia, for example. Nostalgia for the past, one is attached to what one can see, but it's no longer available. There's a mixture of attachment and aversion, pleasant feeling and unpleasant feeling.
So dosa can be object of attachment, but it cannot be object adipati, right? It cannot condition by predominant object condition.
Like when one's angry about the politician or something one's read or heard, or the way the monk behaves, and there can be clinging to the dosa, the righteous dosa, and clinging to the story, but it's not adipati pachya.
Can I? Usara.
Hello, Tao. Good to hear from you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. We just said about the harnessed. So I have a little bit confused about the characteristic of rupa, basically focusing on the earth element. So my question is, not just question, a little bit confused, and I want to know the teacher say a little bit about this. So how is the earth element different from the hardness? Hardness we perceive when we touch an object like this microphone. When we touch it, we think it's hard. And when we consider about the earth element or solid element, which in Pali is the Pali term is Patavidhatu. So what is same and with a different? I would like to hear a little bit more about this concern. Thank you.
So what is the characteristic of the Patavi Dhatu, the earth element, when it is experienced? Because we know in every group of rupas arising, there is Patavi Dhatu. It's one of the primary elements in every kalapa of rupas that arises and falls away. The table, the computer, the hand, every group of rupas includes Patavi Dhatu. But when it's touched, what is the characteristic of Patavi Dhatu?
And
what is the characteristic of Patavi Dhatu when it is touched, when it is experienced?
Usara, I confused about the when we said this a microphone is a concept. It's the idea about something in conventional world. And when we recognize the microphone, and it's have idea of I of me here. And
So-
when we consider on the characteristic of the rupa, like the earth element, so it's without I and me there. That's my confused.
So the characteristic of the earth element of the Patavi Dhatu is just the hardness or softness that is touched now. That is the characteristic of the Patavi Dhatu. The Patavi Dhatu itself, it is just an element that arises and falls away in every kalapa, every group of rupas. Without Patavi Dhatu, there would never come to be any idea of microphone or computer or Ukraine or Russia or this person or that person. So it is the tiny rupa that arises in each group, but the characteristic which can be understood now is the hardness or the softness. And when reflecting wisely on the earth element with calm, we can see how great importance we attach to it. Actually, it's just an element, but we find it so important. The table, the computer, the microphone, the world at large. But it's just an element that arises in each group and falls away. But when you mentioned focusing on the earth element, is there any value or point of focusing on the earth element? We can't hear you, Zhao.
Okay, I don't think there are any value when we focus on the characteristic, but when we consider on the how harness, because the Kunsara, when sometimes when you have anybody understand about the harness, the earth element. You usually said with them, how about the microphone? Which one you touch, the microphone and the harness? So I think there something similar and something different when we set the harness with the microphone, table or thing. That's my question.
So the point is just to understand that at this moment of touching the microphone or touching the chair, actually no microphone, no chair to be found. There's only hardness experienced, the characteristic of Patavi Dhatu, that's all. So we think there is a microphone that I'm holding or a chair I'm touching, but it's just in one's imagination. Actually nothing there, because it's just hardness that is touched. So it shows how we live in a dream world of things and people, and this is utter ditthi, the idea of something there. So the point of mentioning or encouraging anyone to understand its only hardness is to show that no one, no thing, as we're used to believing.
And so anything similar when we touch the table, we feel same heart. And the heart of earth element, something similar or totally different.
So the hardness, whether it's very, very hard or very soft, like when touching the material, it's still just the characteristic of Patavi Dhatu. But if every hardness or softness was the same, there wouldn't be the idea of microphone or shirt. But the hardness is different. So even with one's eyes closed, it's different kind of hardness. So this is how the memory leads to thinking about different objects. Jonathan wants to add a little more.
Yes, thank you. So be patient and little by little. And I really like Hun On. I don't know exactly what her name, but yesterday Hun On have the idea very excited to me. She said about their Hun Hang, but not Hun Hang. They are very far from understand when we see Hun Hang, and they are not Hun Hang. And I really appreciate about when Ajahn said we have to truthful to the truth and understand that lead us to understand there are no Hun Hang. So this is a very difficult question, and I like it. Thank you, Hun Sara. Thank you, everybody.
We appreciate you listening so carefully, Sound. Oh, and I think Tang would like to say something.
Sorry, when he mentioned about the element earth, water, fire, wind, it made me connected with the four elements of which the India in India they say it is the four elements for to create everything. Like for example, your body is made from fire, earth, water, and wind. That's in India, and it make me like connected with the like the earth, with the softness and hardness. I don't know, like any connection with that? Oh, sorry, but it
Is that touchy now?
Yes.
What is it?
It's a hardness. It is a hardness.
Not microphone. Is it cool?
It's cool, yes.
It's cool or it's hard?
It's hard.
Can it be cool?
Touching a glass of iced water.
This one, yes, cool.
This one's cool.
No, it's hardest.
Sometimes
Sorry.
hard, sometimes cool.
Yes.
Microphone half.
Yes.
Always think about things, not just the truth of what is there. For example, we use the word touching, but we think about I am touching. And touching is there, but I am touching. So how can there be the understanding of just one moment as it is? To be truthful, where there is moment of touching, experiencing that which is touched, or I am touching. To be truthful to the moment. So at moment of touching, what is touched cannot be microphone or anything at all. Only one moment of touching. What is touched has to be hardness, softness, cool or hot. Right?
Yes.
Move. Okay.
I have a question again. Like, we can see the different character.
We can say, okay.
I know. Seeing have a like seeing a different color, like at the same
So
moment.
now, seeing, we are talking about seeing on that which is red or blue.
Red or blue?
Red or blue is seen. We are talking about that which is seen or that which sees. Are they the same?
Seeing.
So what is it?
Seeing.
Not
You-
like. What is seeing now?
The visible object.
Seeing.
What seeing now? Seeing the what? Seeing is an experience. Some in a visible object.
So what is the object and what is the experiencing?
The visible object is unexperiencing.
Cannot experience.
Cannot experience, yeah.
And the seeing is the experiencing, right?
Yes. But what I try to say, like, you can experience the thing in different, like, characteristic. I read in here, but I don't understand. Like, just one moment. Oh, in the book.
Because
Yeah.
you're talking about
Like-
now.
Like
Dhamma
different
is in the book.
characteristic of the objects that appear. Like,
So at the moment of touching, hardness or coolness, at the moment of seeing, visible object. So is the characteristic of what is seen the same as the characteristic of hardness or different?
different.
Different. Is the characteristic of sound the same as visible object or different?
sound, the
characteristic of sound, is it the same as the characteristic of visible object?
different.
Different. So different characteristics of different objects are experienced, but now we're talking about seeing. So what is seen now has that characteristic of being the object that is seen,
Okay.
the visible object.
Yep. Okay. Sorry, I got it now.
It's because it is now. The seeing is now, and the visible object as well is now. They arise at the same time, and they fall away, and there is the thinking about it instantly. But before that, there must be the seeing and the visible object in order to think about what you're seeing now and what I'm seeing now. So if you leave the thinking which follows, you put that aside and just ignore it, then what is left is only the seeing and the visible object, and the but no thinking, because we're not talking about thinking.
One at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. And the seeing, but the seeing is not the visible object. They are different. They're the same moment, but it's different realities, different characteristic, different. But they can only be now. Not in the book. You won't find it in the book.
We just talk about now in order to have a little more understanding. What is there now?
The hearing.
Okay. Hearing hears, is that right?
The hearing experience the sounds.
So now, seeing, experiencing, hearing, experiencing, thinking is experiencing, or seeing hears, or it experiences.
Seeing is not hearing.
So, what is seeing?
Seeing is
Okay, seeing sees, right?
seeing is experiencing the.
So, what is it? Seeing, experiencing that which is seen or appear, and seeing sees. What is right?
Seeing can see. Seeing can.
Seeing sees, seeing experiences. What is right?
Seeing know the visible object.
Does it experience the visible object?
Yeah.
Know or experience?
I'm sorry. Can you please?
Okay.
They know the visible object.
Does seeing experience the visible object, or does it know the visible object?
The seeing experience the visible object.
The seeing sees or it experiences the object.
The seeing see
It does not experience.
and experience.
So, does it know?
Yes, it's no.
So which word you just say in daily life?
Yeah, so the same.
Usually in English we will say the seeing
See.
sees the visible object, the seeing experiences the object, any citta experiences its object. Because know sounds like panya, understanding understands or knows the object. Seeing doesn't know anything, doesn't understand anything, it just sees, just experiences a visible object just as it is. But there's no understanding of it at all at that moment.
Yes, and in daily life, and this I think was Ajah's question, we would just say seeing sees. We don't say what it sees. It's just assumed, just like hearing hears. And we all know what that means. But if we are being more specific, seeing experiences visible object.
At the moment of seeing, is there any confusion?
No,
No. Why not?
because seeing is just a seeing.
It just sees. At that moment of seeing, is there any thinking?
No,
Without thinking, is there any confusion?
without thinking, there won't be the confusing.
Right, so the seeing sees the visible object, and afterwards, later, there is thinking about ideas, thinking about what is the right answer, thinking about what does knowing mean, thinking about what does Ajahn want, thinking, with confusion,
Yeah.
with doubt,
Yeah,
with happy feeling, sad feeling.
yeah.
At the moment of seeing, what is the feeling?
Seeing, there's feeling is different to
Different to seeing,
Yeah.
but we discussed the other day, each citta, and seeing is a citta, has to be accompanied by at least 7 cetasikas. So feeling is a cetasika that arises with every citta. So at every moment in life there is a feeling, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, or neutral feeling. At the moment of seeing, it's not happy feeling, it's not sad feeling like when there is confusion, it's just neutral feeling at that moment. But afterwards, thinking with happy feeling, thinking with unhappy feeling, different moments. But at the moment of seeing, not happy, not sad feeling, but feeling is there.
Yes.
At each moment, experiencing same object.
I see you. What is that?
The cleaning with eye.
Don't do it far.
The difference between that which sees, seeing, nama, and visible object is rupa, for example. And it seems like these are very fine, subtle distinctions and also very important ones being made here.
Thank you.
So what is there? I see you.
It's just a concept. It's not a reality. When you see, I see you, there's no one see. Just the moment seeing, and it's already gone. And and when the scenes appear, that means it had a condition to.
Seeing is gone and it's just thinking about nonsense as usual.
So, in truth, what is there? What is there? What is there?
Time for lunch. So for those at home, we'll be continuing at 1:30 this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Bye bye, everyone.